Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to a special episode of the Ginge and Pedro Show. This is the 50th episode. Spectacular.
Spectacular. Oh, dude, you're brushing up that Spanish, dude. You're getting there. You're getting there.
Dude, I would love to just be able to bust it out one day, but the best I got really is arr and pinguino.
Dude, you know what? Look for a style of music called merengue. That's from the Dominican Republic, and try to understand them. Those songs are like you just feel like they speak really fast, and it's
This?
No, that's more salsa.
I pretend if you hold a glass of wine and just try not to spill it.
Oh my God, that's really not a way to go about that. But hey, dude, whatever.
All right, fine.
Whatever rocks you, man.
Okay, enough shenanigans here, everybody. Let's go ahead and get our guest on here. Most of you will certainly be familiar with him, the creator of Monster MD, the hit "Tearing the Trenches" out on Indiegogo right now. He's salsaing in the background, ladies and gentlemen. Von Klaus.
Yeah,
guys, I've got 2 glasses of wine and I don't want to drop them. Yeah.
Exactly. You missed one,
my man.
Writer of High Octane, Black and White by R.T. Davis.
Black and White. High Octane by me and Pedro.
Yeah.
For R.T. Fair, baby.
Yeah.
The Titans Unite.
Yes. Very cool.
Thanks for that great intro.
All right.
Appreciate you having me on.
Dude, thanks for coming. We were definitely looking forward to it. You're a super busy guy, but we appreciate you carving out some time to come kick it with us on this lovely Tuesday. All right. Man. Vaughn, how's your day going, buddy?
Oh, man. It's, we're really busy, but I'm making comics and I'm having the best time ever, man. I've been working on this script for a book that's coming soon that I cannot wait to unleash on you guys. So that's been my day. How you doing?
All right.
Dude, we're doing great, man.
Good, man. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? You're always kind of working on a few projects at once, juggling, right? So that's what I've been doing, and finishing up Tearing the Trenches because the lettering's pretty much getting this. We're doing something a little special with sound effects, and Eric Weather's doing hand done stuff, and we're doing something cool on splash pages that's kind of epic too. So he's finishing that up, and then I'm sending it to my editor for the final polished proofread, and then we're going to try to go to print as soon as possible. So,
dude, that's so exciting, man.
That's happening, yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, baby?
Pumps back. Good stuff. Yeah. What's up, gang?
What's up, Thanks
for coming by.
The regulars coming in.
Cool. Yes. Yeah. Very good. So, Vaughn, kind of the way we do the show, buddy, is we kind of like to get to know how you got started creatively. You've been in comics for a while now, so I'd love to sort of hear your journey, or on the indie side, at least. To my knowledge, I mean, perhaps.
What got me to comics was I saw an older cool. Remember when you were younger and the older cool kid who could draw? That kid? He's great.
Yeah. Oh, yes,
right?
I do. Right.
Maybe we grew to be that kid at some point in our lives. Anyway, I saw him draw a Ninja Turtle, and I was like, what is that? I'm sold. And I ran to the comic book store my first time and fell in love with dark avenging heroes like Wolverine, the Punisher, the original Ninja Turtles, just grimy, badass action adventure stories with cool, flawed, interesting, dark heroes in the shadows, right? And since then, I've been drawing comics. I was 8 years old, and so throughout my life, I've what should I go too deep into my art and my background?
As deep as you want, man.
Okay.
Yeah, we do kind of like to get to know sort of your journey, but as deep as you like to go, pal. Yeah, man.
All right. The CIA doesn't
get in there, bro.
But I'll let you know. So the situation. I grew up in a world where my mom kind of opens my eyes to how creepy and dark everything is at an early age, and loves ghost stories and the macabre and Halloween and all things weird and monstrous and horror movies. And of course, I'm growing up in the 80s, so the best horror movies ever are coming up and blowing my mind and making my imagination soar. I'm drawing like crazy. I'm having the best time. And I think the more I look back at the 80s, I'm realizing how much of an impact it really does have on how I craft. And not just like horror 80s, but action movie 80s. You know what I mean? The purity of it, the fun of it, the testosterone of it. The no compromising
pacing,
brutality. The pacing's good too, right? The way they always, even if it was just an action movie, it wasn't just an action movie. They wanted a good story. They had standards, you know. So I all that had a huge impact on me. But throughout my life, I've gone all these different places and done other things that I think kind of got me to where I am. But I was always making comics in the background. So when I got older, I ended up going into film, and film and screenwriting. And I found out at film school, or I guess it's not really film school, but I went to Columbia College, Chicago, and it's the largest known film school in the known universe. It puts out more students than anyone else. And then yet I found out this disturbing fact on my first day, that we weren't getting any good stories into film festivals, that nobody knows how to write stories anymore. And I remember being kind of bothered by that and being like, it's my mission, anime fist in the air. It is my mission to write good stories and bring them back to people, But by the time I left school, I did a good job. I worked hard. I was a little older than everyone, so you're a little more mature and you work a little harder, You don't party as much, even though I party. But Columbia College wasn't that hard, you know what I mean? Because it's more artsy, you know what I mean? That's what you're there for. But I still worked hard, and I ended up doing some great stuff before I left that got funded by the school. The head of animation asked me to write the script for his advanced animation seniors final project. So I got to write a script that got animated. That was great. It was great until it wasn't great. Yeah. Because unfortunately, this professor had a thing about control and about having his fingerprints on what the kids make. So he changed my script from what was like a witty kind of funny thing that I was like, this is going to hit, kind of more contemporary thing, to like old fashioned slapstick, like old fashioned slapsticky Warner Brothers cartoons, which I love those, but that's not what we were doing, And it kind of made the jokes fall flat. So I watch it and I just cringe.
It made him laugh. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Dude, but that's
only him.
Yeah, but that's the problem with working with big productions. And animation, as small as it could be, it's always going to be a big animation, and there's going to be way too many cooks in the kitchen.
Right. And when he's the head of animation teaching the class, you'd think he would understand, like, knowing boundaries to stay out of it. No, he loved it. So I was like, oh, that sucks. And it didn't come out as good as I wanted, but at the same time, it's school, But I'm also wanting to look good and win some awards. This is my resume. This is my life. This is my career. So then I get news that my school loved this one short script I wrote so much that they're funding it and having a whole team shoot it, So we got thousands of dollars behind this. This is going to be awesome. And they give the script to an SJW director. I didn't even know what an SJW was back then. I don't think the term was popularized yet back then. But I knew this was an activist, and he changed my script, and it ruined it. And it was such a good script; everybody loved it. It won some awards. I was like, with this script, if someone makes this and does a good job, we will win awards for our school. I will look good on my resume, right? Yeah. He changes a script. I love this part of the story too. It's a script that's about two stepbrothers who, of course, are rivals in the beginning, and by the end, they kind of learn to be friendly and brothers, So it's about brotherliness. Yeah. And it's kind of a funny coming-of-age tale with some cool moments, and he changes it into white people are really bad to Native Americans, y'all. He changes it into like a racial division thing, and I'm like, the opposite. Yeah. That's like the opposite of what I wrote, isn't it? Anyway. So that got ruined. So by the time I get out of school, I had all these high hopes and aspirations that just kept getting stepped up by people who it's not their place. Like, how are you messing up my work? The only place I ever had control and power was comics, where no one else can touch it, right? And I get to make it my way on my terms. So I'm always back to comics. Yeah. And don't touch me. I'm doing comics.
Yeah, you won't be touching comics, man. That's safe.
Yeah, and it also, when I was going through bad times, I could work on comics, and it was just so good and healthy and therapeutic, and and fun. And so I've made a lot of cool stuff over the years. I even made Monster MD with a different artist, and he decided to say screw you to me and not turn in the last 5 pages, which led to me working with Monica to make the Monster MD we all know and love today, which so it ended up being a blessing. But yeah, like you end up going through a lot of hell to get to where you are if you're me, I guess.
Yeah, no, but dude, like the thing is, like, comics is hard work, and dude, like Monster MD was an iconic book, just like the character design, your writing, sir. Like I had the blessing of having a script written by Vaughn given to me to draw, and dude, it was just like he was painting images in my brain with his writing. This guy is really good. All right.
Thanks, bud. I love it. I mean, comics to me are where it's at. I couldn't believe that I tried to make movies. I'm not a film set guy. I love movies. Yeah, I love movies more than anything, but I'm not a film set. I can't stand on a set with a bunch of people and yell and make decisions and give orders. Go over there. Where's the lighting? And blah, 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 and like freak out about everything. Like, I just want to write beautiful images with killer characters and stories and design awesome art and just blow people's minds, make you entertained as hell, you know? And bring back good stories. Bring back a standard to storytelling that used to make sure that even if a movie wasn't the best, like, it still was pretty satisfying overall. You know what I mean? Like, there was a standard. So yeah, my work over the years has always had a bit of a horror tinge. I'm noticing as I work more, I love fighting. I love fights, kind of from like manga style fights too. But I don't copy them. I've kind of taken what they do and I have adapted it into something that I think is like cooler and works better and is a little more better pacing, less talky, more, you know, but still with like great twists and turns that surprise you. It's not just you get punched in my book. There's more going on all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been fun figuring myself out as I make all these books over the years since Comicsgate blew up and Monster MD did well. It's been fun doing that and working on all these different projects with awesome artists. I'm having the time of my life, man.
Yeah, dude. So Monster MD was in 2019 or 2018?
It was 2018 when we launched the campaign.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's been some time, huh?
Yeah, dude. We've been at it. Dude.
I feel like I should have so many more books come out, but because it's comics, I've like worked on tons of books, but they're only just now like coming out.
Yeah, exactly.
Lady Alchemy is finally getting into hands. Black and White. I don't know about our book.
Oh no, art is holding us up. We're done, man. We're done.
We're done.
But art is doing an amazing job, dude. But
art is going to make a well-crafted comic that takes you back to a great era in comics, but at the same time tells you a great story that makes you happy. Like, art is just a master craft.
Yeah, dude. Like I only had to do 22 pages, and they're already done. They're colored. I think they're in the middle of lettering, or they're lettered already. Like,
oh, cool. Okay.
So cool. So our job is done, sir.
I'm very excited to see the final product on that. Yeah, so that's another cool thing we have. You know what I mean? And I did something for Sovereign Wolf. I've done all these. So all these things I have are in the works. They're finally kind of slowly coming out. But expect more. More. I'm making so much right now too in the background. That's getting artists. I even started drawing my own comic. Because I remember on one stream I saw your designs for Monster MD, and you can draw too. It looked really good. A little bit. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. I have my moments with drawing. I know I'm like kind of a lazy artist, or maybe not. I mean, I'm definitely not pro, and I definitely don't know all the cool things that I should if I'm going to draw comics professionally. But I know how to make things look cool. And I know how to make imagery hit.
Yeah, the designs were very, very cool. Like,
I know to design, sort of. I think. Yeah, I'd like to think I do. I try.
So let me hop in here, Vaughn, because we get a lot of types on this show, but we do. I'd say it leans more towards the artist side, and not quite as often as writers. You know, no particular reason. I'm a writer.
I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up now. Yeah.
Well, he likes to pretend he's not a writer, but his book is out right now, and people are enjoying it. So, I mean,
awesome.
Tropical Magics, yeah.
Yeah,
but no, I would like to just sort of pick your brain. You know, what's your process from idea to scripting? Like, you know, what are some of your favorite tricks of the trade? You know, like just, you know, how to write is my question, basically.
How to write, how to make it all work.
Yes, man. What's the secret?
What a process. Well, I'm so weird because I love comics so much that I'm approaching every project a little differently to experience it and then learn from it. And maybe there'll be things I like from that I'll take for just, you know, using standard for everything I work on. But I think it just starts with good old fashioned, something we all already have locked and loaded inside us. Just dreaming, fantasizing about awesomeness and different things. And I guess a lot of times for me, it can be either a character that ends up crafting a story around this idea of this great character. Other times it's just a what if or just an idea that keeps eating at me. And then it starts building itself in my mind. Before I know it, I'm sitting down and writing what I start with. And what I always start with is a simple notebook file, like a text file, plain as it gets. And I just start filling it with all the ideas, all the imagery. Even if it's like an idea for just a cool one-liner or cool fight scenario scenes, it's all loose, and it's allowed to be loose because we're starting with just like wet clay, right? We haven't. That's why they call this craft, because you're carving the way you create. In a way, you're carving everything into this nice form of visuals and story and people talking that takes people into a new world and entertains them. So you start with the wet clay of just all this. It's almost like just a mass of mud, right? But me, I always know very internally like where it's going. You know what I mean? For a while, and after I do that idea jamboree session for a while, you know, I start, suddenly something happens, and I start writing a step-by-step outline. I'm like, bullet point. This happens. Sometimes in order to, before the outline though, I've noticed I am starting to try to get to know my characters for a while too, and live in their world for a while and ask myself questions about it. And because the better you know your characters, that's going to drive that's going to drive your story. If you don't know your characters, but you just come up with a cool idea, you're going to find yourself hitting a lot of blocks. Because you're not going to know what your characters' desires and motivations and or just even the weird things that make them tick. You know what I mean? So you need that your character to be seen as kind of like a fuel for your story. So I get to know them for a while I'm jamming out on the, you know, the notes and all the ideas on the idea thing. But then it does start to turn into me refining and doing that, like I said, the bullet points where the characters start driving this tale. And if I'm doing my job right, I'm not necessarily sitting there thinking hard. I'm just kind of letting the characters kind of lead it. And I can always change it. That's the thing. You're always carving and refining and changing and editing, throwing stuff out, you know, adding stuff. It ends up becoming an outline over time, which I turn into 3-act structure. That's kind of like the Hollywood screenwriter in me. I utilize 3-act structure. I don't freak out about it, and I'm not as stern about it as I used to be. I used to be very stern with structures and stuff. I let it be a little loose, a little. I mean, it's still 3-act structure, but it's, how do I do it? I don't sweat it as much. I have I've done it so much. I have an instinct now for like when our twists and turns need to happen in the story. So, so I end up making this 3-act structure as if I'm making a screenplay in a way. For any story, this could be a 20-pager, but this could also be like a 200-pager, you know? Hell, even one page of a comic, if you think about it, if you want it to stay interesting to the reader, that's even a little miniature 3-act structure within that page, telling a little mini story that's hopefully going to have enough tension and interest to make you want to keep going. So yeah, I end up getting this 3-act structure out, and then I pull out my screenwriting software for comics that I got. It's really cool. It's called Superscript, and it helps format as you go. So I don't have to worry about formatting. I don't like to format. That's a headache. I want to write and be creative, man. So I end up writing these I end up writing in a really good, solid comic book script format that's formatted correctly to where people love it, like artists love it. And that makes me happy because that's another thing I do in terms of a tip I can give you in terms of creating. Make it as fun for your artist as it was for you to write it. Make it easy on them. Clear, simple language, but yes, like add a few funny things or flowery things to make it entertaining a little bit, but keep it simple and keep it direct and don't melt their mind with like having to ask you questions, you know what I mean? But also just format it right so they can easily get through this. Their job's already hard enough. They're like bent over a table all day, breaking their joints and stuff. What's another tip that I was thinking about today, actually kind of random. Get in late and get out early. You guys heard this one? It's a pretty typical one. When you're writing a scene, don't just start it like, guy comes home, guy walks in, guy sits on couch. Like cut to where action's about to start and get us there, because that creates that gives that pace. And then getting out early, that means, that's the part where you when to finish the scene and you don't let it drag. We have our conclusion or our set up for a question in the viewer's head. We're going to move on to the next one. Get out, move on, man. The more simple you keep things, the better people respond. And so that's just a good rule of thumb I also go by. I've just been talking a lot, sorry, but I could go on forever.
Bro, this has been great.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. Keep talking.
All right, great. I could do that all night. So what else do I do? Yeah. Okay. So then you get your 3-act structure, and then that's what I like to go through, and I do my edits, and it's like about refining, making it better, seeing what's like unneeded. Another tip I can give that's been helpful for writing fast is not sweating the dialogue and just starting. And it also makes for strong imagery, but just start with your images. Don't do a version of the story with no dialogue first and see if it works. See if it holds true image wise. And then your dialogue is like that extra spice that like puts it all together and makes it, even more interesting and makes it work even better, because I just think that's a good way to do it. It's almost like you're doing the Marvel method on yourself after you've, just set up the images. Right. It's actually kind of fun too, because if I write like a panel one guy pulls out sword, and then I'm trying to think of a cool line for him, I might be sitting there for a while. And when you're sitting there for a while as a writer, you might start to feel tired. You might start to get bored. You might get annoyed by the tedium. And then before you know it, you're on Twitter, you're on YouTube. Oh my God, 2 hours have gone by. And you just watch some like kid play Fortnite for 2 hours on YouTube. This is ridiculous. What are you doing? You turn that off. You're like, I'm not going to waste more time. This is bullshit. But no, instead, like you get to the, you don't worry about a line. You make sure the imagery's strong. You move on, and then I've noticed this when I go back later to put in Marvel method style, my dialogue is better because it's more short and terse because I'm just doing a dialogue pass now. So I'm just trying to move through it. So you have that good pithy comic dialogue instead of like some guy pulling out the sword and be like, so you want to fight? How well, what if I want to fight back with this sword? What do you think? You know what I'm saying? You want, I noticed if I do the dialogue while I'm doing the panels, it might be a little too wordy. So yeah, that's another advantage of going back later and just trying to do a dialogue pass by itself. Focusing on imagery by itself is healthy. And then focusing on dialogue by itself is a healthy thing. So
I kind of do something similar myself, actually.
Cool.
Just as I've been developing, as far as I wouldn't call it out of laziness, but certainly out of the same thing happens to me when I hit as a writer. I just want to keep going and going and going. And when typically as I'm writing, I kind of know what the characters are going to say, but sometimes you do have to kind of figure it out. And if it does take more than, however long I don't want it to slow me down because it does sort of chip away at your energy and you just want to keep going and going. So yeah, I'll just skip past the dialogue and in my head, as long as I can reread, I know I pretty much wrote the panel right. If I can reread the panel and say, yes, I remember exactly where I was at. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
So it makes it easier to go back in and fill it in.
I'm always surprised when I do my redraft of my dialogue, how many lines are just terrible, like on the nose dialogue. And I just call that filler. Like it ends up being, you have to accept that your first draft is your first draft. Like, let it be imperfect. Be happy that it's imperfect, but set yourself up for success. One thing I do, I don't know if I can recommend this, but I do redraft as I go. Or if let's say I finish for the day and walk away and come back, I don't start necessarily right where I left off. I go back a few pages and I start looking at what I wrote the night before. And I'm the fresh eyes, guys. Actually, this is advice. Okay. Take this to the bank. The fresh eyes, walking away from it and coming back will make your work so much better. You will edit it properly. You will see the flaws a lot more easily. So when I wake up in the morning, I don't just start where I left off, man. I go back like however many pages I did the night before and just start editing right away. And before I start writing, I've already done a nice little editing pass on my stuff. That's why a lot of people go, whoa, dude, Vaughn, even though this is a first draft, this is very finely tuned. Like, this is really good, you know? And that to me is a good recipe for success. A first draft that already kicks ass.
Right.
That's the best, you know, that's the best way to make a book that stand out, you know?
All right. Yeah. Another thing you mentioned about getting to know your characters, that was something that, you know, as far as like writing a character backstory, when I started writing comics a couple of years ago, I was like, you know, you do that for fun, just as a thing. But here lately, I've been kind of trying to just spice it up a little bit. And I've developed this thing called motivation and then true motivation. And like your motivation is sort of like your kind of like worldly, like on the face, you know, what is this character after, like, you know, immediately, so to speak. But the true motivation is like, but why are they after this? Not like some external force, but what's the thing that if you were like trying to put this character on a couch, you know what I mean? And like, why are you this way? I find that that's been really interesting to just help flesh the character like really out mentally. You know what I mean? It's been fun.
It's so interesting. And if you want, you could go so deep with it and get complex with it, but it really is interesting. It's the difference between an interesting character and not when you have the personal motivations connect with with the worldly motivations. You know what version of that hit me the hardest in terms of movies and a screenplay I studied in school was Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, yeah.
Agent Starling's personal demon was she's waking up every night hearing the screaming of the lambs, and she thinks if she could just save this girl from this killer, it's going to help her. This girl becomes the metaphorical lamb that she couldn't save as a kid. If she could save this girl, she thinks it's going to help cure her of those screaming lambs. Like, how creepy and cool and how bizarre of a character motivation is that? And she doesn't say that to anyone. It's Hannibal Lecter who looks her in the eye and says, "You think it's gonna make the lamb stop screaming, don't you?" It's so good. It's so good. Like that, dude. And so that's a good tip to remember when writing. Try to make the internal struggle the character's going for match the external struggle in an interesting way. You know,
for sure.
That girl was her lamb to save, you know, that she couldn't save as a kid. So it's something that when writers think of that, they're like, yes, like, that's awesome, you know,
just get a dick as hard as titanium. That's
dude.
Titanicock. Why?
Titanicock.
Honey, you wouldn't understand, honey. I thought of a great idea.
Titanicock. It's a mecha anime.
Honey, do you have another good idea again?
Yeah. I'll have another one tomorrow. I promise. But it's, you know, it's part of being a writer is the rush of breakthroughs that you get addicted to. Also, I can't believe how little I play video games or watch stuff now in my life.
Dude, that's happening to you too.
Yeah, you get addicted to your own stuff.
Or you're watching like House of the Dragon. Like, hell no, I'm busy, baby.
Man, I'm making amazing stuff, and I'm having the best time. Yeah, it is spooky time. It is. It's haunting out there, baby.
Absolutely, and it's a good. We're right at the 30-minute mark here, so while we are having fun, we can.
We are,
and to you, Sarah. No, but I know we can go ahead and hop on over here to something spooky. It's got terror in the name. Let me pull this bad boy up here. Oh my God! Everybody,
do it!
Boom! Terror in the trenches. Tits.
No, it's
for short. Have you officially adopted that?
It's coming. It's coming. Oh, there it is, baby.
Oh, there you go. Jesus Christ. You see, this is professionalism, showmanship.
I know.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it work, baby. So I loved her in the churches so much that I had to do a campaign. I was just making it for love of Black Terror and wanting to give him this old Golden Age character, a story worthy of the badassery, the untapped potential I saw in this amazing character who wasn't an amazing character like he should be, but he's not. And it's bugging me. And it's bugging me so much that what do? I start to create. I start to draw designs. I start to write little ideas down. Before I know it, it's turned into a beast of its own. It turns into this script I'm up late at night writing called Terror in the Trenches. And I realized suddenly I'm writing my dark avenging epic that I've always wanted to write since I first walked into a comic book store as a kid. Yeah, this is awesome. Right. And I didn't still even then think, oh, I'm going to do a campaign. Yeah, we're doing a campaign. To me, doing a Golden Age character is a very risky move for a comic book crowdfunding campaign. You are fighting an uphill battle with characters that a lot of people are asking, especially comic fans are asking themselves, why should I care? Hasn't this character been done before a million different ways? Isn't this character old news? I wanted to fight that and say, yes, but there's so much you never saw there's so much potential to make him into something cooler than what's on the shelves today that can compete. I think he deserves it. When I saw I love horror stuff. I love, punky stuff, and I love superhero stuff. And when I saw Black Terror and then read up on him and realized there really wasn't that much cool stuff on a character in all black with the skull and crossbones and just the badass look, I was like, man, they don't know what they're doing. And when I read it and he was kind of like a piratey type superhero, I was like, no, he doesn't even come in on a cool ghost ship or do anything cool or rad or piratey. He's like he's a pharmacist, he's a pharmacist.
Doesn't even have a peg leg.
Yeah.
That shoots off or something cool. No.
Yeah, dude.
Nothing like that. So I was just like, they don't know what they're doing. I know what I'm doing. He's a World War II. He was made in World War II to murder Nazis. In Black Terror's day, he was the Punisher of his day that people went to if they wanted to get a book where someone was murdering the Nazis left and right. You bought Black Terror, right?
Put some hair on your chest.
Yeah, dude.
That's right. And so I took him back to his roots, man. I took away the machine guns that we would see him use. I wanted this to be like a trench warrior, up close and personal. So trench knives all the way. I've always thought.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of knives, man, like visually, it's the little things that catch me. The fact that you chose a dagger like sanctioned by the Geneva Convention not to be used in war for the bad guys with the serrated thing. That was like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. It's the little things that pique my story. Like if there's that, what else is in there? Right. So, dude, like this project, I'm waiting excitedly. I'm just.
Thanks, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When I went to I live right by like a flea market spot here in my town, and I went to it and saw a trench knife. And when I love looking at old stuff, and I pulled it out the blade, and it was serrated in a really horrifying way. And the guy's like, "Do you know what that's about?" And I said, "No." And he told me all about how it's illegal. It was illegal, and if we caught a Nazi in World War II with this, we just shot him. We didn't take him prisoner because these were made illegal in World War I for being too brutal, too horrific, too much. They pull out your guts. People tried to claim that it was for being able to saw through trees, but nobody saw through a tree with that. No, they were sawing through bones. They were sawing through your bones, and they liked it. And that it was to intimidate too, of course. So that makes an appearance. And in fact, to me, it was the perfect weapon of the bad guys. That's just perfect. There's an edge for order and an edge for fear on their blade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, very spooky.
Dude. It's little stuff like that catches your eye, like give the story depth. Because this is based on reality, man. Even though you see like fantastical thing, look at that, man. When I saw that, like, yeah, this is a book for me. Oh yeah,
it's real, dude. It's real. Like I had to incorporate reality with the fantastical in a way that told an awesome story, and it just worked out great. By the time I finished the cast for this, designing them and everything, I realized, and I had Monica draw it, and you'll see those awesome character designs. Yeah, right there. I realized we had something that could be crowdfunded. It could be a hit, and so here we are now. So yeah, I just had so much fun doing this. I brought in Lady Satan, another Golden Age character who got her husband murdered by Nazis, and so she went on the war path against them.
Right on. Perfect combo.
Aren't they great? Like there's something about they just work, right? They just work. Yeah, she was originally show up in a red cloak, shoot them, stab them, kill the Nazis, leave character. Pardon me. But then later no one even knows what happened, but someone changed her into a mystic with magical powers. So Lady Satan has had different versions of her throughout the years as well. I combined mystical powers with gunplay and made a gun witch because I've always wanted to make a gun witch character who's very agile. Yeah, the name is too cool. Like I had to do it. Yeah. And she's so perfect for it. She's just too perfect. So yeah, she ends up becoming this very acrobatic, badass Avenger. And she also explores the themes of vengeance, just like Black Terror. She's very violent and loves killing Nazis, man, because they firebombed her husband. She watched his face melt off right in front of her.
Man. He gets. My goodness.
Yeah, and you get to see some little hints about that in the story too. Everybody, even bad guy characters, will get a very brief kind of like, hey, there's some more details about him that you didn't know that are going to kind of blow your mind, like very brief moments that are very cool in this story. I think people are going to dig that because what I knew was if I'm going to go fight this uphill battle with Black Terror to make him cool, he needs the best cast of villains around. Yeah. So I designed villains that I thought would be perfect with him.
I do have a question here for you, real quick, if I may. How come you and the artist settle for a vertical reading order of the comic? It's like you're drawn downwards of the page. Has it been a conscious effort to do that, or is it influenced by Jake Twister? Shout out, Jake. My boy.
What does he mean? Am I? I don't know if I understand.
Elaborate, Jake.
Is he talking about because I think he might be. I think I know what he's saying. He's talking about the wide framey presentation that is he talking about like how it's a lot of the frames are just wide.
Probably.
I was going to ask.
I'm at a loss too. I'm at a loss.
He might mean it's this wide frame treatment. Monica wanted to approach it with these wide frames, and
it looks great.
I like it. Yeah. I like the way it tells the story in a way that I don't know. I like that question though, because the downward idea, I never really thought of that because I'm hoping that your eyes are at least still scanning left and right instead of
the storytelling. But the storytelling is sound, babe.
Right, but maybe maybe it's something that is fitting because this story is about Black Terror going downward mentally into kind of darkness. He's going into the trenches to fight, but he's losing his mind and remembering his past and reflecting on that as he, fights these villains that are villains that he kind of knows. And as the story progresses, he's putting it together, and we're learning more about it.
Dude, that like terror cave, I don't know how you call his like den. That design is awesome, man.
Right, his trench coat thing.
Yeah, I don't know how you call that. The terror cave. What?
He takes his trench coat from the war and he puts it over his shoulders and just wears it as like the stand-in cape. Cool. Instead of being a cape. I wanted to get rid of the cape but still, it is a cape. I mean, it's capey. It gives you that superhero feel while being like black and leathery and evil. I wanted an evil thug-looking terror that is just more born from trench warfare.
Right?
He's the type of hero that we're glad he's on our side, but you're kind of scared of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're like happy and relieved. He's on your side.
Yeah. But he's cool because you're going to see human sides to him that are wonderful, like his love of his wife, his love of his job as a pharmacist, healing people after spending so many years maiming people. There's these other cool sides to him, and also the fact that he's a man of science. He understands chemistry. He makes this terror gas. That's the stuff that gives him his power.
Right.
It makes him durable. It makes him strong and fast and ferocious. It also, when he exhales, it makes a fear gas byproduct. So when he gets close enough to you, you see him as what you fear most. So he's got skills, man. There's even a cool scene. I think it's actually in a later book.
This is the right use of gas, not internet gas. You know yeah, dude.
Exactly.
This is how you use gas.
Battle poppers.
God damn it. Yeah.
You know, like he's in a way, he's a drug addict. Yeah. And which was a real thing from World War II, where everyone was all methed up in the German military, man.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, the British will give what would they give? The British Army had another one. It starts with a B. Yeah, I know the Germans used like Pervitin, which was like meth, and the British would give another drug. It was like a drug out fight. Yeah. We were hopping ourselves up and fighting, and Blitzkrieg was really the meth krieg, and Black Terror's doing it too. And the gas is so interesting in this because the addiction of it is not, it gets me so high. In this story, of course, it's like the power of it, the fact that he feels more safe in a New York neighborhood if he can pop it and then patrol, when his wife is going, hey, I thought we were done with this, and then he'll come home late at night, and he'll have the gas on his breath, like an alcoholic would have alcohol. Oh man!
He'll be like, I smell that on you, man. And he'll be like, oh shit, I was just protecting the neighborhood. And she'll be like, really?
Really?
But then he'll be like, you can smell my breath. Well, you're gonna see me as what you fear most. And she's just like, yeah, I know, it's you.
Wow.
Stuff like that. Like, it's a much more dramatic, interesting book than I think people realize, because I like both. I like dramatic, but I also don't mind good old fashioned badass comic book action and adventure. That's what it's about,
Yeah, dude. Right. But it's good that you put like little hints of drama. Like, okay, there's like addiction involved. There's like, okay, what your partner thinks about your vigilantism. What are you doing to yourself?
Yeah.
But it doesn't become preachy.
Right. He's eroding his mind a little bit. Yeah. Like if he's scared that one day he's gonna pop it and then he's gonna lose his mind fully and just go on a killing spree and be nearly unstoppable.
Yeah.
So it's a scary thing.
So cool, man. So cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Love the way that our colorist Carlos Tiga, he brought this whole nother. I knew he was our colorist right away. Like, he made it, the vision that I've been having come to life. He worked with me back and forth to get the textures just right and the right kind of feel and looks for every scene. It's just been great.
Yeah. All of the artwork is absolutely stand out. And also Monster MD was another one of the just most standout books visually that. I'm not sure if you had any aspirations to get this stuff adapted, but as far as like stuff that you could pick up and probably do something right away with, definitely Monster MD, and like all the visuals are there, and you could even present it in that style, in my opinion, and it would look great.
Oh yeah.
This would definitely be another one for sure.
Thanks. Yeah. Monica and I talked about Monster MD too. We want to do it, but we want to finish Terror first. She fell in love with the idea when I pitched it, and said, I'm in. Let's do this.
Very cool.
So I'm so glad she signed on, because it's kind of a dream come true to do this book.
How did you meet your team? How'd you put everybody together?
Let's see. Well, Monica, of course, from Monster MD, but then for our colorist, I found a guy on Facebook in a desperate attempt to finally find the right colorist. I went through some amazing, talented people who they brought something great to the book, but it wasn't my vision, I guess you could say. It wasn't quite it. And then I saw him and I said, dude, I would love for you to do a test page, but I kind of think you're going to be it. And it turns out he's an artist that I've been wanting to work with for a while, and I didn't realize it when I first hired him. He did colors on a book called Grom, Galactic Rodents of Mayhem. Have you guys heard of that one?
No, but I love the name.
Isn't that a great name? Grom. You should look for Grom on Twitter or whatever or YouTube. But it's a great book, great art, great in the colors, man. Just phenomenal work. And he was one of those colorists where I went, man, I want to work with him, but I bet I'll never get to. So I'm randomly looking for a colorist and message this guy who looks good. I just don't realize it's my Grom guy. And he says yes right away. And he's the coolest dude. It turns out, like, he jams in rock bands. He's awesome.
Oh, awesome.
Fuck yeah.
And then he was just the right guy from the start for this book. And of course, Eric Weathers, my letterer, is my go-to letterer for all my projects. Like this especially, and I said, dude, could you give me like hand done, more beautiful, artful sound effects, little thing? I think little things like that can make a big difference. And he's like, hell yeah, I'm on it. So he's doing that. And what else? I can't think of anyone else that I had to bring in. I brought in some other cool people who are making things like we have our TerraGas vials.
Oh yeah, that got you in trouble, right? If I remember correctly, like the Terra files, like with Indiegogo, like they thought you were like selling real drugs or something.
At first they gave me a message that sounded like they had a problem with the vials, but then they sent me a new message later that said, "We have a problem. You have too many beheadings on your page, bro." Like,
oh no!
I'm out. Okay, so I had to edit my art. I'm really sensitive about getting censored ever since I got censored in high school.
Yeah,
like, I've been really sensitive. But and had my work changed multiple times in college. Anyway, but now we have this awesome TerraGas file. It's like it came straight off Black Terror's belt. It comes with a stand. You can take off the arm. It's really awesome. It's hand painted, and this is like a little replica thing we did. Yeah. And that's
it doesn't come with real gas, guys. So
yeah, unfortunately, there's no gas in there.
Does it unseal? Does the top unseal? Could you put some gas in there if you wanted?
I decided for locked down tops. Now, there's two reasons. Obviously, I mean, I did think it'd be cool if people had green M&Ms in there and were like, down in them. But I realized that Black Terror's gas vials are special.
Yeah.
I would love if somebody smoked weed through one of those.
Dude,
I'd be so happy. I'd be so happy.
Yeah. Take this, brother.
But here's the thing: the TerraGas has been tested on other people, and it kills them. Most people die from it. We don't know what the exact percentage of people that survive, but if you survive TerraGas, you will get some powers, random powers. We don't know what they will be. No one knows.
All right.
Oh, that's great.
But most of you asses are going to die. So Black Terror has them sealed so that only someone with advanced strength like him can pop a top.
Wow.
And bust. So when he pops the top, there's this spark of like metal like going like breaking. Because, that's his child-safe version,
Damn.
I like it.
So I like the idea that the prop can't take off the lid. It's if you have to have super strength. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it makes sense. And it also kind of just stops randos from getting a hold of some vials. And now we've got new supers just being created.
Or dead people.
Willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or dead people, sure.
Yeah, or genocide,
Yeah.
TerraGas is a creepy thing.
Alrighty,
you'll notice it haunts him throughout, as well as other ghosts haunt Black Terror throughout. He's haunted. He's a very haunted hero. You'll see that.
Oh, dude, that's so cool.
It's so cool. It's and also I have the excuse to put a skull and crossbones on every damn thing that I make, so that's fun.
Yeah, dude, the terror bike. I don't know. I put names to things. I don't know if it's called the terror bike, but dude,
the terror cycle.
The terror cycle, dude. I want that.
I know, me too.
Yeah, dude, look at that, man.
I
that
feel
old World
bad
War II
kind of because you
is awesome.
Yeah, you gotta have to wait till book 3 to like really get some terror cycle action.
Dude, but if you have a bike like that, you have to fight crime. You can't go like I'm an accountant and arrive in that bike. Like
right.
No.
Your dentist doesn't arrive on this bike.
Yeah, dude. Look at that.
Yeah, I'm not sure you'd want him working in your mouth if he did. I don't know. It's like 50-50.
Yeah, couldn't trust him. That's
okay. Very cool.
Yeah, it's so much fun just doing all the. In a way, I'm using a lot of tropes, but I'm using them in ways that I think are going to entertain the hell out of you, while mixing in a lot of interesting things that make you go, a little more interesting than I expected, a little more deep than I expected is what I'm hoping for.
So before we get out of here, we usually keep this show at about an hour, just to keep it a tight hour. I do have a question for you, because we've talked about creating great heroes and great characters largely, but I'm not sure if we've really tapped into one of the other sort of most fun parts about being a comic writer, and that's writing great villains. So do you have some stuff, just some tips you've picked up over the years to really help flesh out just a fun villain?
Villains, when we let them be likable a little bit, let them be, and let them have something they care about that we can relate to, even if they're the biggest asshole in the world still, I love classic genocidal madmen, but I love to find out that genocidal madman, used to have a normal life, or used to have a kid he cared about that died, or used to something. But in the end, they say heroes are only as good as their villains. So make sure your villain, it's as if you're writing the book for him when you're focusing on him for a bit. Like almost as if you're writing your own story for him, even though you're not. But trust me, it's going to come out in his actions within your story against the hero. I love it when the hero and the villain have some sort of connection. I love it when, I don't know, a connection that's like kind of inevitable feeling in a way, if that makes sense. Where I don't know, where you're enjoying watching the villain at work as much as you are the heroes at work in separate scenes. I love that. I love that. I love it when the villain is able to steal the show a little bit too. So yeah, I mean, it's to be, and at the same time, guys, I got to be honest with you. I don't have a bunch of tips for writing them, because I feel like I'm still. Oh, really? I feel like I'm still learning villains. Like, what is a really good villain? You know what I mean? I feel like I'm still learning a little bit, as crazy as that may sound. I mean, it's not crazy. I think we're all always learning, if we're being honest. As
definitely.
Yeah, the world is trying to grow.
Or else we're not going to grow, right? But exactly. I feel like I still need to understand what makes villains so appealing sometimes versus other ones that aren't as appealing. I mean, because I love that my villain in this, for instance, on the left here, you see Dr. Kaufenstein. Dr. Kaufenstein.
Look at that name, man. Kaufenstein. Jesus.
He's so awesome. He's an ex-World War II surgeon who has now become the new leader of this Black Reich. And when I introduce him in the book, I shouldn't spoil it. I'll let you guys get into it. But he talks about I introduce him with him talking about something very personal, but at the same time, it tells you so much more about why he's dark and evil without saying something too dark and evil. If that makes sense, like it's like I immediately allow him to get personal rather than evil when you first see him, which is kind of interesting. And he's a genocidal madman. But in his mind, he's completely rationalized it out. So yeah, your villain's motivations, I mean, make them very personal to them, and make them like, I don't know, kind of a screw you to the hero and their motivations. Make the conflict hit hard, Make it so the hero has no choice but to step up, because sometimes heroes try, are reluctant and stuff in stories, and and to make that villain, the villain. Who are the villains we remember, And it's usually villains that have a lot more going on than just cruelty. They have a humanity. So explore that. Even the villain to the right of Dr. Kaufenstein I made, who's my kind of the one I've wanted to make forever. An ode to Trapjaw from Masters of the Universe. I was like, man, if you just do a few alterations on Trapjaw, he'll be like a Nazi zombie cyborg thing. That would be the coolest. So so I'm dealing with Nazi characters in this, and it's all about the past coming back to haunt you. So let's have this zombie cyborg guy come, but you find out that he has a story too. You find out
right on
what he's about to. So it's like those things that tie them to their humanity that really make us interested in them in the end. Let them steal the show a little bit sometimes, not the whole time, but you know what I mean? Like, I love a good villain that just walks in on a splash page and steals the show.
Yeah.
Right. That's one of the sort of the things you don't really know about writing at first, because you always sort of start with your main character usually, which is your hero. But, you know, as you go to develop the other characters, like there's often times when I'm writing a cast, like I will fall in love with each character, just like that character a little bit more than the others for a little bit, you know, and then I'm on to the next one, and I like this one a little bit more than the others. It's just as you get to know them, and you know, you just sort of fall in love with them all. It's fun.
Yeah, and then you put them through hell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
or
man.
kill them.
Yeah, or kill them. Put them through hell, then kill them horribly.
Yeah, exactly.
Could do
You
that.
know? Like I think
right.
that's the Stephen King method, and it works. You know,
Right? Kill your darlings. I think that's the saying.
Oh, well, kill your darlings is a little, it's the saying of, that applies to when you write something that's like badass, but it doesn't quite work or fit, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's going to like throw off something that needs to happen, or throw off your time. And you don't have the room for it. So you end up having to cut that out and kill your darling and put it on the cutting room floor, sadly. So yeah, in this case, that's more the other thing we were talking about. That's just more, if the more hell you put your character through, the more interesting.
Yeah, the brighter heaven will be, you know,
yeah.
when they overcome. So yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, like Black Terror in this there's 3 books, and in this first book, he kicks ass, but don't get it twisted. He gets his ass kicked too. Like he's going up against people he's not ready for, that he doesn't, he knows them, but he doesn't know he knows them at first too. It's a whole, like, and he's been out of the game for 30 years. 30 years being a pharmacist and a married man. So him coming back is so cool. Back in black, back to kill in the trenches that were his neighborhood.
Yeah, dude. Oh,
that's right.
Oh man.
All right, very cool. So before we get out of here, let's take a look at the perks we got over here.
Oh, sweet.
Yes, we'll start right here at the top. We got the Total Terror.
Everything.
Just sort of walk us through
every damn thing. You get the digital, you get the signed comic, you get Lady Satan's pinup poster, which is double-sided. It's going to be a fold-out poster, so it'll be folded up and put in there for you. Pick which side you like to display. Terror Files print set is actually really badass. Actually, you were just on it. Oh yeah. This is so cool. I'm working on this myself. I was going to do it with a graphic designer, but he's out, so I'm formulating this myself. It's going to be, I mean, this, you already see it. I mean, it's looking pretty cool.
Very cool.
So this is the in a little black file, you're going to get character prints. I think I'm going to have it be 4 character prints of these awesome character designs, and on the back of each one.
Sorry about that, Troy. I'm going to mute.
Nobody. Back of each one, you're going to get their stats, as if the government's been keeping tabs on them. You learn about their past a little, their powers. You know, it's really cool. It's like cool secret files on all these characters and their backgrounds and everything. So if you want to learn more about them, you'll get this awesome set. You also get a T-shirt and your name in the book.
Sweet. All right. Here's the shirt.
Hell yeah. Man, I'm really, and it's glow in the dark. I can't believe it. I'm selling a glow in the dark shirt. I'm so happy. I love it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, there's the element of because I remember getting stuff like this as a kid. I remember stuff like this as a kid. The element of really tapping into what we loved as a kid. You know, why people make comics is because they most of the time fell in love with it as a kid. You know, some people come into it later, but even still, it taps into that. You know, the fun of what it is, you know, being free, what's on the page. Like, you know, you can have anything.
You are free. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. You're, I don't even look at it like kid stuff. I just look at it as cool. And then it's totally fair if you want to be like, yeah, but if I was a kid, I'd love this. Yeah. Like, I hope that kids love my stuff, even though it can be very violent and adult. I still, You have to understand, when I was a kid, I wanted violent in adults. I wanted to be treated like I was mature.
Right.
I liked when I saw Robotech. That was the first time I saw an animated character die, you know, and it hit me. And I was like, this is the cooler version of storytelling where people actually die. G.I. Joe, they always like jump out of the airplane and yell Cobra, like get away. but in this, dude, they're dying. Anyway, so I'm hoping that, you know, the books like Monster MD, maybe this might be a little too violent for some kids. It's depending. Well, they'll still be able to be like, dude, this is cool as hell.
There's probably likely some teenagers, you know, that would get into it and enjoy it. Like, you know, you can't really escape it. But also, like, I grew up reading Spawn and, you know, Batman. It's like stuff like that. Yeah. So
dude,
it's definitely got the cool factor.
The costume is iconic. The art looks awesome. So yeah, dude, this is doing it. This is a smash hit, man.
Thanks, bud.
Yes,
I'm really proud of our team on this. They just killed it. As you can see here, we're almost to 80K. There's a beautiful Dan Lawless print that everyone will receive when we hit it. So we're working towards it. Hopefully we get there soon because I want to include that with everyone's stuff.
They're calling
How did he do this?
Like the weapon merchant or something like.
Huh? Is this all digital or?
Yeah, like people are using Dan Lawless as like an arms race. Like they get.
Yeah. Apparently, I had no idea there was a Dan Lawless Cold War going on behind the scenes of him just selling badassery to everybody like a boss.
Yeah,
like the boss that he is. So Dan. I asked Dan to do this, and he said, "Hell yeah!" In my opinion, this is like one of, if not the coolest looking designed character in CG.
Yeah, dude.
And I said, dude, yeah, I was like kind of taken aback. I was like, all right, I need you to draw this. And so, we worked on this idea of him, you know, being in the trench, you know, being under the block and being all the dead bodies of his neighbors and everything in ruins around him. That's not the full print, but you will get it. Hopefully, if we can get to 80K.
Very cool.
Yeah, I definitely suspect that will be the case. And man, this looks awesome. Do you know how Dan works? Is he fully digital or is this painted?
He's digital, but he's, because of his talent. I mean, the guy, you can pay him. I don't know if you still can, but a long time ago when I first saw his work, he does Conan paintings that will change your life. He does these Conan paintings, or at least he did. I don't know if he still does the hand done stuff. Well, I'm pretty sure they were hand done, and I wanted to commission a Conan from him. So still working up to that.
Yeah, this is a really great piece. Love this arm. Just love the detail on the fingers. Like this is legit. Very nice stuff.
Stunning.
Alrighty, gang. I think this sort of sums it up right here. Terror in the Trenches is Bruce Timm on steroids. That's a hell of a.
Does that do it? Does that do it for you?
I think so. What do they call that? A byline or the blurb?
Tagline?
Tagline?
Oh yeah, a blurb would be better for sure. I think you know, Bruce Timm was one of my big influences growing up. So
dude,
it's an honor to get to make something that's even slightly like something he would do with Monica. She killed it on this. She understood what we were doing. The energy's there. That's why this did well, guys. I've seen plenty Golden Age character crowdfunders just fall flat, sadly, you know, and you root for them, you know, and you like the characters, but it just doesn't have that magic. I think we got something magic here. So thanks for supporting everybody, and appreciate you having me on, man. You guys were awesome. Dude. Thanks for letting me rant.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on.
A must-have here, man. Thank you for coming by.
Awesome. Thank you again.
All right, Vaughn. So we're going to bump you to the back real quick. You're free to stick around, and we'll meet you in the back real quick, or if you got to head out, you know, whatever you'd like to do. But we're just going to close her out real quick, Ski. Boop. Going to boop you to the back here. Boop. Sorry about that. Okay, so all righty.
Hey, it's up the flop.
Great show. All right.
Yeah, dude, it was an awesome show. I learned a lot.
Yes, it was good to have a writer on. I feel sort of refreshed. Just, you know, we don't get a whole lot of them on the show every now and then. I want to thank everybody that came by. Saw some familiar faces and some new ones. We got Davey. What's up, Davey? Thanks for coming by, buddy.
Yeah.
Jake Twister.
What's up,
always a pleasure to see you, buddy. Can't wait for you to come back in full swing. Let's see, who else do we have? Facebook username Came here for the gangbang. I hope we delivered, my friend.
Yeah.
Wash your hands on the way out the door.
Yeah. Wash your hands in and out.
All righty. We got
Just
Pops,
nice.
of course. Thanks for hosting, everybody. We're on Pops' network, so shout out to the network and all the other great shows out there. And hello to any new listeners that didn't, pop in for a spell. But yes, that was this week's episode of the Ginge and Pedro Show. Next week we have, let's see, I'll have to pull up my schedule at a later date here. But we'll go ahead and end the show.
This is professional.
Yeah, I know. Okay, but everybody, we'll be back next week with another episode. Until then, peace.
Don't we need to play a video now?